Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So last week we ended with the engine out. Now this week we're going to take a look what's underneath that head. So we're going to split the head off and take a look and see what the state of that gasket is, the head gasket. So let's not waste any time. Let's get on and see what that gasket looks like. Right, okay, so let's start off by taking off this turbo and actually the head. That's what we're going to work on, because the turbo will come off with the head as one unit. Now there's a couple of bolts here. This is the reason why we couldn't do it in situ. You could do it in situ, but it's really difficult. Easier to do it with the vehicle out of the or the engine out of the van, and since we're going to change it anyway, it made sense to just take the whole unit out and deal with it off. So there's a bolt in here that bolts the engine to the chassis. This is basically just to keep the engine, the turbo in situ, and we've just got two bolts here to release this exhaust return into the EGR valve. This is the EGR system here that we may have to retain for the new vehicle or the new engine that's coming or that's come. And what else? There's another pipe as well, one of the oil feeders, I think, somewhere. Oh, well, we've got this as well that we need to undo, and that's going to separate it from the engine. Now we can either do it from here, this pipe here, or we'll do it from the other side. Again, that's part of the EGR system, so we just need to release those two, and then I think we are good to go. So let's crack on and do that. Okay, so we've now stripped the head. We've taken off the camshaft top crank. That's now off. We've now freed up the sensor here that detects that the crank. We've taken off the pulley that tightens the belt, and that's now freed up the head. So everything should be loose. We've also taken off this bolt here that holds this plastic trim, basically just holds the head. So now everything should just come out, and we should just be able to lift off this head and then take a first look and see what's going on underneath here. Ha! Forgot one pipe. The oil return. That's the reason why, the main reason why we couldn't get it off. I wondered why that was going into the block. Actually it's here. You see it there? It feeds all the way round there, and into there. And then there's one also, the return, which goes into the block. So this is the feed to the turbo, goes round the turbo, comes out this one, and goes back into the block. That is what's causing all the issue. So I'll get that off camera, and then we'll take the head off again. Okay, let me show you what we have found. So engine is apart. So look at that. See that? That gasket is gone, and also you can see the fact that all the a lot of the seal. So normally there's a lot of black in here, and in fact you can see it on the head, and it is transferred onto the head, and the head seems to be okay, but the gasket seems pretty wrong. And look at the top of the piston. Can you see that? It's like soot. Can you see it? And there's loads in there. And there's loads in that one down there. I don't think you can see that one very well. But there's loads of little dust in there as well. Tons of it. It's a pile. It's almost like someone's poured sawdust in there. So that engine is absolutely stuff. I would not put that in any vehicle again. This is toast. Just good for parts. Alright, so I think our decision is clear and we made the right one to replace this. Like I said, the head is okay, but there's lots of metal particles came out inside here. So whatever's going on in the top end is obviously probably something going on in the bottom end as well. The actual cylinder bores themselves don't seem that bad. I'm sure you can see that pile of dust down there. Can you see it? And this one's the one that's got actually this one's the one that's got none at all. But the rest of them have got these, and you can see there's like silver particles in them as well. So it looks like metal of some description in there. Not good. Okay. So what we need to do then is I'm going to take the gearbox off and we'll go inspect the clutch, see if the clutch needs to be replaced. If it does, we'll replace it. Might as well got it into pieces. We'll get ourselves a water pump kit as well for the new engine. And yeah, I think we made the right decision there and pulling that one out. Yeah, definitely. Right, let's move on.
A few moments later.
Alright, so now that we know what's gone wrong with this gasket, we're going to start stripping this engine down. And the first thing we need to do, we need to get this gearbox off so that we can take a look at the clutch and see what state the clutch is in. I'm going to probably fit, in fact I'm going to fit a new clutch to the new motor because it makes sense to do so while the engine is out. So we'll do that, but first of all we're going to take the gearbox or split it from the rest of the block, and then we're going to take off the water, the fuel pump, and then the alternator. We'll take all of that off, and that will leave this lump stripped. We'll just leave the old filter, but we're going to take this off because this is a brand new filter, so we might as well move that to the new vehicle as well, or the new engine rather, because when we get the engine it's going to be stripped. Oh, and by the way, a thing about the engine, so the engine that I had lined up for this, it's not coming now apparently, and you couldn't make this up. In fact, let me tell you what's happened. So the engine was due to arrive here on Wednesday. Had it all arranged, a vehicle was going to come, and got an email from the seller to say that the pallet company said that it fell off the back of their lorry. You can't make that up, can you? Really can't. So what's happened is that it fell off and it actually broke the it dented the sump, and it damaged the basically the body of the engine. So the block has got a crack in it, and then he asked me if I still wanted it. What do you think?
Oh hell no!
So we're on the hunt still for a new engine, which is really real pain, because I wanted to actually get the new engine in, swap out all the cam belt and get that all sorted so that we can basically get it ready to fit into this engine, because we've got so much work left to still do on this van. But anyway, it is what it is. So rather than sort of delay the videos, we're going to get on and take off the parts of this engine, and then we'll have that ready to go on to the new, all stripped out, and then we'll clean them all up as well. So let's get on and do that, starting with taking the gearbox off. Okay, so gearbox is apart. Just look at the old thrust bearings in here, and not sure if they're supposed to be like that, but they could definitely do with some TLC. Yeah, I think they need to be replaced for real. Alright, so we'll get that sorted. Next, what we need to do is we'll take the clutch off, and then we'll see what state of play or what state the clutch is in. Yeah, let's do that. And then once we get the clutch off, we can then get the flywheel off, because most of these engines that you buy, they come without all the flywheel and everything. Plus I want to see what state that's in, but we'll give this a bit of a clean up. So take a good look at it now, because it's not going to be in this state when we put it back together. The gearbox itself is in a good place. Actually, this is the first manual gearbox I've done, and they are so much lighter than the automatics. Yeah, go figure. Right, let's get this clutch plate and flywheel off now. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. So the flywheel, that's come off, that's okay. It's got a few heat spots in there, but nothing to really worry about. Just needs a good old cleanup. The clutch. So the clutch itself is absolutely fine. It's got plenty of meat on there. It's still got a few of the lines. You can see some of them have worn. So that's the grooves going across. But when you look at the actual clutch itself, it's got plenty of wear. That has got probably another 50,000-60,000 miles of use before it even begins to show sign of wear and tear. But I may decide to replace it, and the reason why is if I get a clutch kit, then I'm going to get the new thrust bearing, and then that will change that, and then the new owner doesn't have to worry about that for a long time. This engine, so in here is a bearing, and that's obviously the crankshaft. On the outside you have a seal. The seal has let go with all the oil that has been here. You can see the oil coming out here. You can also see that oil on the bottom of the gearbox here. You can see it, the black there. That's clearly where the oil has leaked out. Now I did see that when I was looking at the engine, which caused me some concern. So obviously it means that at some point, because of the fact that the engine has had so much oil in it, that it's come out and actually spit out through the gearbox. You can see where it's drained down there. That shouldn't be there like that. So yeah, good decision to replace the engine. And then look at the pistons. So we just turned this, and if you look at the top of this piston here, you can see it's rounded off here in the corner here. So it's literally, it should be flat like that. And then look at this one here. I have never seen a piston do that before, ever. Now these two in the middle, in fact, if I bring, let's see if we can bring them up. Let's look at these two here. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Stuck. Typical. Right, I'll bring these two up to the top here. In fact, you may, yeah, let me bring this up and I'll bring the camera back. Alright, so these two pistons, look at this one here. Also, it's got a little bit of a curve off it. Do you see that? Hopefully you can just see that. It's literally lost a piece of it. So you got all this debris here. Some of it is metal. That could be the piston. And you got this debris. I think some of this debris come out when we were taking out the glow plugs or the injectors. That could be the reason. But this is the only piston that is intact, that is complete. So this engine's definitely had it. There is no saving this engine without spending a considerable amount of money. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the head on this is warped as well. So it's really in a poor state. So we are literally, this is scrap metal. That's all that is. Heavy doorstop. Or maybe I can create it into one of those tables. Have you seen those glass tables that people use out of engine blocks? Nah, it's not happening with this one. Alright, so we've definitely made the right decisions to swap out the engine. Now we just need to source ourselves an engine. And just to add insult to injury, so where this, obviously that's where the brake is in the gasket that you can see, but there's also a crack in this one there. Hopefully you can see that, the beginning of a crack in this one here I saw as well, somewhere, just a wee bit of a crack. So yeah, engine very bad. And this engine, this cylinder here, absolutely caked with oil. So this cylinder absolutely, I'm just going to wipe that down there. See that? Covered in oil, absolutely covered in oil. So I think this is our smoking gun piston, the one that's gone. Whether it's the ring's gone or it's just sucking up the oil that was inside, but I think this is the cylinder that was giving us our James Bond smoke effect. The others seem to be slightly oily. Yeah, the others are okay. That's the one that's really bad. All right, so now we know what's happened with the engine. Now we just, like I said, we need to get another engine and get this sorted. I need to clean inside the van as well, inside the engine bay. So where we got all that soot over there from the actual smoke, I'm going to clean all of that up. Just makes it look better when you lift up the bonnet. So I think we can safely say we are not going to be using that engine. Absolutely not. So the race is on now to find a new engine. Now, I think I may have found one. I'm just doing some negotiation at the moment, and hopefully we can get that here for next week. And if that's the case, then we will start to assemble that and get it back in the van, because we need to get a move on now. So that's where we are. So tell me what you thought of the state of the engine that we took out. Was that really bad? Have you seen worse? Put it down in the comments below. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe. If you are a casual viewer, click on the bell notification, because a lot of you are still just viewers rather than subscribers. And subscription costs you nothing, but it does help our channel to grow. So thank you for your time spent viewing, and we'll see you on the next one.